Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CineFiles Extended Cut. This is a show where we break down the biggest stories of the week as covered by WatchMojo's The CineFiles, as well as some other big stories that didn't quite make the cut. So if you like this, be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks for more. I'm your host. My name's Matt, and I have my panel here. I got Justin, Phoebe, who's new this week, so let's give her a little round of applause, I should say. Phoebe, welcome. And, of course, Liam at the end of the table there.
Wow, that was a lovely introduction for Liam.
Liam. It's all good. It's all good. I just tease. So I guess we'll throw it to the first segment, which we like to call What You Watchin', which is basically us just gabbing about what we've seen on the big screen lately.
Or the small screen.
Or the small screen.
Or the small screen. Whoa. Are we talking TV small screen?
No. I watch movies on small screen
okay.
too.
Correct. Let's not TV, guys. Let's not talk about
what even is that?
What is TV? So I guess let's throw it to Phoebe. It's your first show. We're super stoked to have you.
Thank
so
you
welcome.
so much for having
so
me.
let us know, what have you been watching?
I recently watched a horror movie by Netflix. It's called The Ritual.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's sort of like a psychological thriller that takes place in the Scandinavian wilderness.
Oh, extra scary.
It's really creepy. It's like a group of 4 guys who are going on a trip together, and then they take a detour through the woods. It's got all of those sort of horror movie cliches, but it's really, really good, and it's being praised really highly, most notably by Guillermo del Toro.
Oh,
so it's
Oscar
definitely
winner.
worth a watch. And I think that Netflix is putting out some really good horror movies lately.
They just put out Veronica, which I
yeah.
saw.
Did you think it was the scariest
No,
movie
I did
ever
not.
made?
I
No.
think that's all hype, to be
It's
honest.
hype,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if the same things are being said about The Ritual, but
Nobody said it's the scariest movie
Okay.
ever made, but it's definitely, it's a good one. It's scary. It's got like a big monster, and it's really cool.
Oh,
big
Yeah.
monster.
A big monster.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why
Nice.
Guillermo del Toro likes
Yeah.
it so
Yeah.
much.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Yeah.
you throw a monster in there, and you got Guillermo's attention.
Yeah.
he
Is there any-
loves his big monsters.
Is there any romance involving the monster this time?
They're not this time.
Okay.
That would be
maybe
less
in the
scary.
I meant
It's an 8 on 10 for
It might have
Guillermo
been less
then.
scary.
Not a 10 on
Although
10.
the fish and the some people might have thought that was scary. Anyways,
Fair
I digress.
enough. Fair enough.
I digress.
I mean,
sexy.
he eats cats, doesn't he?
that was
He eats
scary.
boiled eggs. You know that.
But he also ate a cat.
With a side of cat.
With
Yeah.
a side
Spoilers.
of cat. Yeah, I don't really mind when horror movies kind of stick to cliche as long as it's like done right and done in an effective way.
And
So
playfully.
yeah,
as
totally.
long as
felt
they
that
can
way. Yeah, it was definitely done right.
I
It was
also
creepy.
love the setting of wilderness. Blair Witch Project is my favorite horror movie of all time, so
Nice.
I will check that out.
something
for sure.
should watch it,
something
yeah.
inherently scary about the woods.
Oh,
you
the
know?
woods.
Lost. Not a fan
Not a
of
fan.
No.
I'd agree. Justin, how about you? What have you been watching?
Last night, we checked out Thoroughbreds.
Yeah,
Yes.
We did?
the 3 of us did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Phoebe, sorry.
Thank you for
I
the
guess
invite.
your invite must have gotten lost in the
That's
mail.
fine. I was
but,
really busy last
hey.
night anyways.
Oh, okay.
Fair.
Well, now I guess we feel a little less bad, but future invitations are coming your way. Don't worry.
Thanks.
But yeah,
What
the
did you
3 of us
guys?
see
What did you
Thoroughbreds.
guys think of Thoroughbreds?
I thought it was really, really creepy, really interesting. When we left the theater, all we could really talk about was the sound design of
Yeah.
the piece. And
Yeah.
it was
Very surprising that they put that much effort into sound design for a movie
it's
like
just
this.
there's so many like audio elements that
Yeah.
add to like the tension of every single moment, even when the moments aren't necessarily meant to be tense. Like there's a party scene where there's this guttural soundtrack where it's like an EDM song,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the vocals are this weird like throat singing guttural
Yeah.
almost metal
like-
sound,
yeah,
and it's
I
so
agree.
disturbing and creepy.
I was really surprised at how weird this movie was. I loved it. I went in thinking it would be like one of those like dark comedies, you know, I mean, like a lot of people were comparing it to Heathers just
Yeah,
based off the
that's
trailer.
what I
Yeah.
heard, that it was like the new
It was a lot
Heathers.
Yeah.
weirder, but
But-
not weirder,
but-
but
Also, like normally with like those dark comedies, they're like fast paced, like the dialogue is normally like as fast as the editing, but like this was like a slow burn. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
really kick in until like halfway through, but even then, like the whole movie is
Yeah.
so
a
good.
lot of lingering shots, a lot of slow
yeah,
pace building moments.
Yeah.
Great performances. It was
Great
It was like a
performances.
triple.
in memoriam
Triple
again
powerhouse,
to
yeah.
the late Anton Yelchin.
yeah.
who
Anton Yelchin's my boy.
delivered a crazy good performance in this movie. He
That's his
isn't
final
in it
film, right?
much.
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
so.
He wasn't in it much, but when he was in it, it was like such a weird and kind of off-kilter character
Yeah.
that he kind of stole every scene that he was in a little bit.
I was telling you guys after we saw it. It's like I was saying Olivia Cooke. I think she's a tremendous actress, incredibly underrated. So you guys definitely check her out in some the other stuff she did. Definitely check out Thoroughbreds. As good as she was though, every time Anton Yelchin came on screen, I was like, man, this guy's he's
Yeah.
kind of stealing the show.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to say that because the performances all around were so great.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
And his character was just like such a weirdo, kind of quirky, sleazy.
weird.
Yeah.
They're all like really complex characters, I found. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Especially Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who I thought was like very complex and very like a dark character.
Yeah.
She's in a lot lately.
Yeah.
This is a big year for her. Yeah.
I definitely think her and Olivia Cook.
Cook are up and comers.
Yeah, Olivia Cook has Ready Player One coming out
Next
real
week, yeah.
soon. Yeah, so yeah, and I liked how the movie, like you said, it was billed as kind of like a Dark Heathers, but I like how it kind of avoided all of those like genre kind of cliches. And it was like a very unpredictable movie too. Like I don't know about you guys, but I did not know how that movie was gonna end.
Yeah.
There was like a few twists and turns, but not like tremendous twists, you know?
Yeah, it definitely defied expectations a lot. And I think if you're someone who likes being spoon-fed information, I don't think it's a movie for you. Like there's a scene in particular where like a character is like looking at their computer screen to see like text messages. I guess they have like iMessenger or something like that. And you want to see what's on that screen, but they they completely linger on her face. And it's like the scene just cuts away. And it's like, I think that is like such a genius way of telling a story.
Totally. Yeah. Just to sum that up there, just in case you guys haven't heard of the movie, basically it's about this girl who has mean stepdad and invites friend over. They see how like shitty of a person he is, and then they kind of like develop a plan to kill him. So
not exactly the most original idea for a movie, but I think it's told in a way that
but exactly the way it's executed.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really deliberate in its execution of like a pretty standard murder story.
Yeah,
but it's really well told and
totally.
I have a question about it. Is it a future cult classic, as it's being hailed? As?
Interesting.
That's what a lot of people are saying about this film, and I want to know.
I feel like those kind of movies are few and far between for a number of reasons, and that's really interesting to bring up because you see that less and less, I feel like, with modern releases.
Yeah.
Just because we're so inundated with, I hate the word, but content.
Right.
Like there's so much stuff coming in that it makes it hard for these things to get like that kind of word of mouth, passing the DVD to your friends thing that was like so prevalent early in the 90s and the early 2000s.
You know what? I think this is like one of those movies where, and we live in this kind of world where it's like, this is going to be a movie that like lives on Netflix, I think. And like, it'll be one of those things where it's like a hidden gem of Netflix that you check out on like a Friday night and it's like, it's enjoyable throughout. And I think, I don't know, I recommend it to everyone. I think it's fantastic.
It definitely has that style and that kind of, that filmmaking style, I should say, that lends itself to becoming, if you will, a cult classic. So it has potential, but like you said, those are very good arguments, Justin. So that was our What You Watching segment. Hope you guys enjoyed that. But we're going to get into the real meat of this show now. We're going to talk meat and potatoes, baby.
Making me hungry.
It's it's
lunchtime
soon.
Lunchtime.
Depending on when you guys are listening, I don't know. It could be supper. It could be in the middle of the night. Who knows?
Lunchtime's all the time.
What You Watching is done. We're going to get into, like Liam said, the meat and potatoes, the top 3 stories of the week. That's going to come up real soon. All right, everybody, welcome back. So this segment is the top 3 stories of the week. So the first one is Steven Spielberg, pretty big director.
Pretty big.
He's probably the biggest director in the business right now, arguably. And recently he won, what do they call it? The Legend of Our Lifetime Award at the Rakuten TV Empire Awards earlier this week.
It's not a real thing. Legend of Our Lifetime?
Well, it's kind of like one of those honorary things, you know.
Lifetime
Achievement Award, exactly.
Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah.
Legend of
Lifetime
Our
Achievement
Lifetime. Sounds like a movie he would make.
Yeah.
So very good point. Yeah.
Clearly, he was very excited about winning this prestigious award, obviously. But he also took the time to announce that yes, Indiana Jones 5 is indeed still happening, and he's going to start shooting it in 2019. So a little ways away, not too far. But a little bit of background information here. David Cope is going to pen the script, and he's worked with him in the past on a little film called Jurassic Park. It's a dinosaur movie.
Ooh,
and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So he's familiar with the franchise. Having said all of that, that one probably wasn't the most well-received movie. And after that movie, does anyone, is this something does the audience want to see this? Indiana Jones 5? What do you guys think?
I feel like it was said all in when he said in his speech, like, oh yeah, and Indy 5 is coming. Everyone was like,
Yeah, they're
You
kind
know,
of
they were like, okay, like it's fine.
you just
know?
won a Lifetime Achievement Award, so we can't like groan. We're gonna
Yeah,
slow
that's
clap
it.
this. And also like Harrison Ford's gonna be how old? You know, he's gonna be.
Is he even gonna
Can
be
he
in it?
still? I think he is.
That guy wants
so
to reboot
old.
every one of his franchises and then kill his character off, I think.
And it's funny because it's like
Tie
it
all
seemed,
loose ends.
yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed like he was so like not into the idea of jumping into these old characters again. But he's doing this. He's doing Blade Runner. He's all over the map.
It's very
all over the map.
It's very on brand for Harrison Ford to be like, I don't want to do it, but I guess. I don't think if he had a problem with it, he wouldn't have gone from Han Solo to being Deckard in the new Blade Runner movie,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like,
what I'm
he-
saying. Yeah.
he would have just been like, I did that already, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it again. But obviously, he doesn't have that big of a problem. But he has become that like old curmudgeon. Maybe he was always that way, but it really seems to be like every time he's in an interview, he's talking. Like
Yeah.
this
He
and
cranky,
I
straight
love
up
that.
cranky. Like,
Curmudgeon.
Except for that interview with Ryan Gosling when they were promoting.
Yeah,
That was
interview
great.
They
And
were
I
having
think
some
Ryan Gosling just
fun.
brings the best out of everyone.
I think
but,
so.
the interviewer brought the best out of
True,
it.
that's
to
true,
be
that was good.
honest. She
To
was
use
incredible. Yeah.
the
Good call.
parlance of our time, that interview was lit.
Go check
It
it out
was
if you
so
haven't seen
lit.
it.
Yeah,
That and when you punch someone in the face, you have like an undeniable bond.
True.
Because
Yeah.
like
fair enough.
he like straight up decked him when they were
Oh,
filming Blade Runner. and he's
amazing
like,
video
oh, I'm
also.
sorry,
By
maybe not
Amazing
sorry.
accident.
Yeah.
I think Crystal Skull is like such a stain on that franchise, and I'm surprised that they're bringing back the same writer. I mean, he did do Jurassic Park, which
Yeah, he's a good. And see, this might be a hot take, but I didn't mind Crystal Skull, to be quite
I didn't mind
honest.
it when
is
I
a
saw it,
spicy
but I was
take.
It is a
also
spicy take,
very
but-
young.
Yeah,
Not
I guess
that
when you
young,
watch it
but-
in contrast with the other films and
Yeah,
how
I-
great they are, it sort of
I-
falls short.
I'm
Like,
one of those people who hates Temple of Doom, so I
Oh,
okay.
I would
That's a
almost
hot
I would
take.
almost put it
really
on
hot,
par
scalding.
with Crystal Skull.
wow. You just surpassed me in the hot take of the day. We
Yeah.
need a
True.
sound effect for that. Like,
Hot take of the day.
yeah, or something.
Yeah, get an air horn in here.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm surprised they didn't get someone else to write this new one.
It makes me think that Spielberg doesn't agree with the majority of people and thinks that Crystal Skull was, by all intents and
I think he's
purposes,
gone
a
on record
success.
saying he didn't think it was good, though.
Well, then I mean,
I
like
remember
that's
hearing about that.
surprising me. I feel like to go back to the same screenwriter implies like, yeah, more of that. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that's the only way to read it. So maybe you're right. It's entirely possible that maybe he wasn't satisfied with the outcome, but ultimately he still had faith in the
Yeah.
screenwriter. So that surprises me, to be honest.
And Spielberg's kind of like he's a director who like likes working with the same people.
True.
Yeah,
Over
I,
and over
Circle
again.
close.
I'm
Yeah,
very
exactly.
curious to see what direction they go with this because I don't think Harrison Ford can carry a movie anymore.
Oh, you're full of hot
Oh
takes
my
today, Leo.
God.
Okay, but like that's
I
why they had
have
to
to
bring
agree
in
with
Shia
you.
LaBeouf for the last
True,
one. Like,
yeah.
Drag him in the
and
comments.
especially like
Whoa. Okay, so now you're saying that Shia LaBeouf has the ability to carry a movie on it. Oh, interesting.
okay, but
He used
you
to.
definitely know
He
that
used to.
they're
He
you
used
definitely know that they're gonna try and carry the torch. It's like it's basically what they did with Blade Runner, which
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's getting a sequel. So like,
yeah,
You know, it would be cool if they got Ryan Gosling to take over.
they
as
should.
Amazing.
That would be. I would watch that movie.
that would be.
It would be perfect.
I would watch that 100%.
I'm
He's
kind
got
of torn.
the smug attitude. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
where
think-
it could work.
It would work really well, but as you guys know, as I've mentioned in the show previously, huge Ryan Gosling fan.
yeah.
He's built this
Who isn't?
reputation as being like phenomenal actor, and if you go into like this big kind of like franchisey blockbuster,
Yeah.
it would kind of hurt my feelings
I don't know if
a
I-
little
yeah,
bit,
but
he would still
I'm sure he'll
kill
take
it.
that
I'm
into account
This is
Yeah.
before he
hypothetical.
signs
This is
it.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
all hypothetical.
But I would love to see it. Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
I definitely think they're gonna have to do something to like if they want a big franchise, they're gonna have to. Well, I mean, Indiana Jones is already a big franchise, but
Yeah.
if they want to continue making Indiana Jones movies, they're eventually gonna have to choose someone to carry on the
Chris
torch,
Pratt.
right?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
That's the
I-
that's the
there's-
internet's
He's the new
favorite
Han
choice.
Solo. He's
yeah.
the new Han Solo. We haven't had an actor like that come around in
Pratt.
a long time.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's
Chris
funny.
Pratt.
I was reading some articles and basically like in preparation for this little segment, the whole Indiana Jones 5 thing, and they're like speculating on who would be in the movie, and then they're asking Shia, like they interviewed Shia a while back, like, oh, are you taking over the hat and the lasso? Like, are you taking over that? He's like, oh, I would love to, but I'm not sure. And then they asked Harrison Ford, and he's like, no, that's my hat and my whip. I earned that. Shia can get his own.
He's
And I
not
was
that
like,
protective
oh,
of
okay.
any of his other franchises. But
interesting.
Don't
Indiana
touch that
Jones.
whip, man.
It's because
Yeah.
Indiana
Don't
Jones
go
is
near
his
that
coolest
whip.
character.
Yeah.
Hot take of the
Wow.
century.
We got to take the
My
mic away from
God.
Liam. It's gonna burn.
It's
Just
on fire.
It's on fire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
steaming.
Oh yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, that's. I mean, this has garnered a lot of conversation between us. So I mean, maybe it's doing the same out in the film world,
Just
and friends are
another-
talking
In the
about it. Who
Twitter
knows?
sphere.
Just another franchise for Disney to make a whole lot of money off of.
True. That's true. So I guess the summation is basically like, yeah, it's cool. Harrison Ford's coming back, Harrison's Ford truck, F-150,
Not sponsored.
not an ad,
Not
yeah.
sponsored.
But I guess it's just we want to see like who else is in the cast, and then we can kind of judge from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So moving on to the second entry. This was the number 2 entry on the OG Cinephile show, if you will. It's a bit of it's indie news. Indie news, guys.
Love me some indie news.
So this was the first trailer to the neo-noir Under the Silver Lake.
You had me in suspense
Yeah.
for that last
Was
word.
it Silver Wet Lake?
Silver what?
And the first thing that really sparked my interest in this was that it was from the It Follows director, David Robert Mitchell. Loved that movie. And then I got even more excited when I found out that Andrew Garfield is in the lead role. So I'm pretty stoked. It's basically about this dude. He meets a girl. They have like a wonderful night together, and then the next day she disappears, and he has to go on this mission to obviously find her because
Sounds
he's like
familiar.
in love with her.
That
Sounds
sounds
familiar.
Like Paper Towns.
It is,
Paper
yeah.
Towns.
That is basically the plot of Paper Towns.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
say
probably
Paper
a
Towns
lot better.
sucked.
He probably
Yeah.
pitched it as Paper Towns meets
but
Inherent
good.
Vice.
Paper
slash-
Towns meets a good movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
does, from the trailer, it does look like your, unfit PI movie, like Inherent Vice comes to mind.
Well,
Yeah, totally.
Also, The Big Lebowski comes to
Yes.
mind.
Oh, that's good.
Stuff
yeah.
like that, where not in terms of, I think this movie will be as good as those two, which I consider both of those like classics.
Oh, those are
to me.
classics, of course.
But it does follow in the same vein of like this plenty of characters, kooky characters, twists
Yeah.
and turns, like mysteries and plots that go nowhere, but also kind of divulge into different conspiracies. Also, The Nice Guys kind of comes to mind as well. It does seem like it's going to be in that,
But, like,
genre.
very original. I find like
I agree. Yeah.
like the imagery. I think in the trailer.
yeah,
is
visually it
crazy.
is very
Yeah.
unique. Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of It Follows, and I've been waiting for this guy's next movie.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting you said Inherent Vice because I read a book by, I know this isn't a podcast about books, but
We'll
Thomas-
let it
Thomas-
slide.
Thomas
We'll let it slide.
Pynchon,
Thomas Pynchon, yeah.
who wrote Inherent Vice, also wrote another book called The Crying of Lot 49,
Yeah, of
which
course.
is almost exactly the plot of this movie, but I think it's doing something like very different. I don't know. I'm so excited about this movie.
Yeah. I actually even got like, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I got like Mulholland Drive vibes too.
Really?
It was like almost David Lynchian, but like
Interesting.
Like-
It's very LA, like
yeah,
that kind of-
exactly.
yeah, that's
Set in
true.
the same place. And also just that scene, when they're like, oh, they're like symbols and stuff, and it had that symbol that looked a lot like the Twin Peaks logo, and it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
like
true,
it
yeah.
has that
Twin Peaks
mystery
vibes,
around it
yeah.
too. So I kind of got that vibes, those vibes, I should say.
Also,
Yeah.
sorry, I just cut in. I think Topher Grace is credited as being in this movie, but I don't think, was he in that trailer?
Yeah,
is
I think
he the
he's
old guy?
briefly in the trailer.
he's
at
the-
one
Who's
point.
the guy? Who's
no,
the
I
old
don't think
guy?
he's the old
Is
guy.
that's like
but
a guy in
I think he has like
a bunch of
one
makeup.
line in the trailer.
Okay.
I remember being like, "Is that Topher Grace?" But now that you've confirmed it,
Because I was looking on the Wikipedia page afterwards, and I saw Topher Grace, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing him. Was
Yeah.
he the old guy in makeup?
Same. I
So
thought
old now.
the same
Yeah.
thing. I didn't know if he was the old guy, but I was looking through the wiki and I saw Topher Grace. I was like, oh, see, I would have been happy if I just like had been surprised watching it for the first time.
Also, shout out to Riley Keough, who is
Oh, I love
Incredible.
her. She's amazing.
yes.
Big fan of Riley Keough. So with all this said, do we think it's gonna reach like the same levels in terms of like hype and acclaim as It Follows? What do we think? I think it has all the like the ingredients to get there.
hype. I'm not sure because like It Follows had the benefit of being like a much anticipated and critically acclaimed horror movie coming out of like the festival circuit.
Yeah.
And those movies tend to translate a bit better to kind of the mainstream culture. People are more willing to accept a weird horror movie than I think they are to go see like a neo-noir.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
from box office numbers alone, it seems like that is the case.
Okay.
Maybe this breaks the mold. I mean, Andrew Garfield is kind of a big recognizable face. So hopefully, I really hope this movie does well, but I don't know if it'll get the kind of attention that It Follows got coming out of the festival circuit.
Would you concur with that, Liam? Would you concur? Go ahead.
I'll send it to Phoebe after. I also think that It Follows came out at a time where it was like right after The Babadook came out, I think.
Right.
And people were like so ready to call this new horror movement, like indie horror movement.
Say, it felt like almost like a resurgence of the horror genre.
I remember when that movie came out and everyone was like, "Oh, there's like we're in a new era of horror." So I think it had that going for it. This, I mean, I don't think has this premiered anywhere. I don't think there's been any word about how good this movie is.
That's a good question, which I cannot answer at this point.
I'm
but
not sure either.
I assume that it'll probably hit a few festivals before it's released. It comes out in June.
Right.
So
okay, I'm excited.
Yeah. Phoebe, what do you think?
I think it looks amazing. I watched the trailer and I was already sort of on the edge of my seat. And I agree with you that I don't know if the fact that it's not categorized as necessarily like a horror film or anything like that is going against it or not.
Okay.
But like it looks really good, and I hope that it does well. Like I
Yeah,
like
totally.
Andrew Garfield. He's done like a lot of really, really good performances. So I'm excited to see it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it's A24.
They've been putting out a lot of good movies.
A24.
Like a lot.
Can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Seems like it, yeah.
Anytime I watch a new trailer and I see that A24 logo come up, I'm like, all right, here we go.
And
This
they
is
know
gonna
it
be
too.
Yes.
They know
Yeah.
it too, because now they're starting to put the logo in weird places. Like yesterday, we saw the trailer for that upcoming horror movie. Oh man, I'm blanking on.
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
Where
movie
the logo.
looks terrifying.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to see that movie because I'm so scared to watch
It
it.
looks
Scariest movie of all time.
incredibly disturbing.
But they hide but the A24 logo is like as you descend into the grave, it's like carved in the dirt. I was like, man, these guys, they know the hype is
Well,
real.
they know
Yeah.
that like
Ain't no
they know there's an
thing.
audience for like the alternative for like the big blockbusters, right? And like
Yeah.
they're just milking that. Well, I don't know if milking it is the right word because it's
like
kind of negative, but
like you guys said, it's like they know they're almost like the face of this kind of like indie movement. So they're just like, yeah, let's slap our logo on like this crazy backdrop. Like it's like
I love it.
so
Just good
ballsy.
stories.
Yeah,
Good stories,
love
man.
it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. You know what's an episode of the CineFiles without superhero news? Am I right?
I mean, let's go. Let's talk superheroes.
Liam hates superheroes.
Oh, I don't know if I hate them.
No, that's not a hot
They
take
save
to
the
say
day.
he
They
hate-
save the day.
That's
save
true.
the
They do
day.
save the day.
All right. Well, this was the number one entry, guys, and I'm sorry, DC fanboys. It's not super great news. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's definitely not good. Justice League ended its theatrical run as the lowest grossing DCEU movie ever. Below Man of
Crazy.
Steel.
Me and
Below-
Liam were talking about this morning. We were laughing because there was a tweet, and it was like, this movie made just as much money as Hancock did.
Oh yeah.
Oy.
People were
damn.
like, he's just like a drunk, unknown
Yeah.
superhero.
That guy
and-
could bring in more
yeah,
tickets than
than Justice League.
Batman,
man.
Superman, Wonder Woman, all combined.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Don't forget
So-
about Cyborg, everyone's favorite character.
I
Look,
love Cyborg.
I love
glows.
I like Cyborg because I was a big fan of the Teen Titans animated show in the early 2000s. But like when they said that Cyborg was in this movie, when you see him at the end of Batman v Superman, I was like, Cyborg? Like I know that recently in the comics they've kind of introduced him as a Justice League member, but like people don't know that. Like I read comics, so I know that, but I feel like it's a tough sell to be like,
Yeah.
and we've got Cyborg.
Yeah.
And the crowds are going,
Where's
Yeah.
Where's Green Lantern though? Where's my Green Lantern?
isn't he like one of the like AAA superheroes? Like,
Green Lantern?
yeah.
Yeah, he's an original member of the Justice
Do
League.
they not have rights to him? Or
No, they do. They
must.
just I guess the Ryan Reynolds movie
It's so fresh and
freaked them out a little bit. There are plans to make a Green Lantern core movie, which would incorporate like many of the Green Lanterns, but who knows? Who knows if that's still gonna be a
I'm
thing?
snoring over here. This is
Is
such
Hancock
geek
going to
talk.
be part
Not-
of the DC?
Not
Justice
you.
League
yet.
soon?
It's just like I'm kind of on Liam's side here. Just superhero stuff puts me to sleep, man.
I love
and
it.
you
I'm
got
here for
you got real deep in the geek stuff there.
I'm all in.
Cyborg was a tough sell for you, and apparently the movie tough sell for the audience. I'm gonna jump into some numbers here, guys. Are you ready for this?
Here we go.
All right. Worldwide box office for Justice League, $657.9 million,
It's a lot of money.
which is a lot of money. But
Compared to-
domestically,
What I have.
it earned $229 million.
Gee.
And if you compare that to, this was like the first installment of the DCEU, correct me if I'm wrong, but Man of Steel.
Correct, yeah.
It earned less than that domestically. That movie earned $291 million.
Domestically or
domestically?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in the States, which is pretty like the most important market.
But Man of Steel like was their first try, right? So like people were like still optimistic.
But I will jump in and say that Christopher Nolan was producing this right after the whole Dark Knight trilogy.
But Zack Snyder was also directing it.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder didn't have the reputation he has
I don't
now
know.
when that movie was coming out.
He was
I agree with
fresh
Justin.
off Sucker Punch, wasn't he?
That's a good point.
But the trailer fooled everyone. I remember watching the trailer and it was like beautiful nature shots, dark, like emotional. I was like, holy crap, is this like a Terrence Malick movie? Because it's like so many nature shots, like shaky camera and stuff. I was like, this looks beautiful. This looks deep. This is a Christopher Nolan movie. And then it kind of wasn't.
But then you see Superman flying across.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know about this.
So, I mean, they're not terrible numbers, but I mean, Warner Brothers, people get mad when you say Warner Bros. So I'm going to say Warner Brothers.
They're bros.
They're bros.
Bros.
Yeah. The bros wanted more money, obviously.
The homies.
So like not the best box office return. So I mean, box office return coupled with critical reception, what does this mean for the future of the DCEU?
I don't know. I feel like Marvel is just doing so well lately. Like they could never compete with the Marvel franchise. I find, first of all, their films are far too serious. Like for me, the only DC movies that I really, really liked were like The Dark Knight, obviously, and Wonder Woman, which was incredible. Yeah. And that was the highest grossing DC movie, if I'm not mistaken.
We'd have to check the facts on that,
but correct, but I feel like it was one of the highest grossing
I think you're
films.
right. Yeah.
If we had a fact checker in here, we would be
with the iPad.
Yeah, sorry.
Jen with the iPad.
Next time.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not going well.
It's not.
What I think is crazy is like this was supposed to be their Avengers, right? And
this
like,
was their Avengers.
And the fact that this was like their lowest grossing is like
it's embarrassing.
Insane.
Yeah.
It is their. I was talking to Liam about this yesterday. It is their Avengers, but it also isn't their Avengers, because if you look at the path that Marvel took to get to the Avengers, right? At the end of Iron Man 1, you have Nick Fury come out and he's like, you want to talk about the Avengers Initiative? People are like freaking out. Holy moly, there's going to be an Avengers movie. There's a second Iron Man movie before we ever get to an Avengers movie. There's a Thor movie. There's a Captain America movie. They took their time. By the time we got to the Avengers,
I know where this is going.
All the characters in that movie, all the characters that you see like in that famous circular shot
other
of
than
like the
Black Widow and
even Black Widow was in Iron
Man, right? Yeah,
Iron
right.
Man 2. Hawkeye was introduced in Thor.
Liam.
I knew that.
Hawkeye was introduced earlier, so all those characters had a chance to like at least get a bit of breathing room before it was like, all right, team up time.
They established themselves. They
This
established
movie-
the characters.
This movie introduced like half the Justice League. We never saw Aquaman. We never saw Flash. We never saw Cyborg. We saw them in the video clips in Batman v Superman. But that's it. And then they're like,
So
hey,
nobody cared about them.
your favorite heroes are here. And it's like, I just met this guy.
Also,
Like,
in Batman v Superman, it's the first time you see Batman on screen.
True. Yeah. Well, yeah.
That version of Batman.
And that's their second movie. So I could understand the appeal of being like,
Affleck.
we gotta beat Marvel to market. We gotta like get this out as fast as possible. And I think in trying to do that, they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah. And I agree with that completely, because I'm probably gonna say a hot take afterwards, but I'm gonna set up my hot take.
The anticipation is killing.
Like the reason why everyone loved the Avengers so much, or at least like one of the reasons why, is that, like you said, they had all these movies prior to establish these characters. So once you throw them into the Avengers, you don't have to talk about their backstories. You don't have to mess around with their past. You just have all these superheroes, your favorite superheroes, together kicking major ass. And that's why they like it. The fans don't like having to be muddled with backstory and stuff. The DCEU, like you said, they just swooped them all together thinking like, oh, Avengers did this, so it's going to work for us. But like you don't know the characters exactly yet. But this is where my hot take comes in, because we can't just keep bashing DC, guys. We can't do it. We can't keep praising Marvel. So I'm gonna take a hot shot here, hot pocket. Whoa, guys, this is really hungry. Okay, I did not like the Avengers for that reason.
Wow,
it's just okay. All these guys come together and start fighting. Like there's no character development. There's nothing. It's just guys dressed up in costumes, fighting,
They
and that's
become
why
a
I didn't like it.
team. They learn to work together. At the beginning of the movie, they're all
Yeah, but you're
billionaire playboy philanthropist. That line. Everybody's
did we
mad.
not
I remember
think that was
when I
gonna
saw the
happen.
Avengers in theaters, I was like mad. I'm like, why are they just fighting all the time? Why are they fighting each other all the time?
That is an established superhero trope. When two heroes meet for the first time, they have to be like, we have to fight. I don't know you. Let's fight. And then at the end, they realize this is a misunderstanding. We're actually on the same page here. I am, it's hard for me to say like one or the other. I'm classically like more into the DC characters.
Oh, there we go.
And like
chalk up a win for DC.
I want these movies to be good. I really do.
Why do you hate Marvel so much?
I love Marvel too. No, it's not a love-hate thing.
That's a hot take.
I like comics. I just like comics. But when it comes to like the amount of comics I've read from either side, I read a lot more DC stuff, and I love those characters. And it's just disappointing to me to see them drop the ball so consistently. And Wonder Woman was great, and it was allowed to live by itself and kind of have its own story. It didn't feel like there was no scene where Wonder Woman was opening like emails and being like, "Here are the heroes of this universe."
Right.
CC of Justice, as some people were calling it.
That's pretty funny.
I just feel like that's the strategy. You have to give these heroes some room to breathe before you go, let's tie them all together.
I'm sure not Iron Man. Aquaman is already in production.
It's coming out this year, yeah.
Oh man, I think they definitely should have put the hold on Aquaman and rebuilt something.
I was gonna say what's their next step? Like
they're gonna hit the reset button. But
after Aquaman, after we're gonna have to watch another movie of CC Justice League.
CC of Justice, yeah, CC of Justice. I think they're gonna hit the reset button, and I think it's gonna come with the Flashpoint movie.
Wow.
Which is smart, I think. Yes.
So yeah, I just hope that these movies get good. I hope they get good.
Get good or get gone.
That's right.
Well, I guess that's just as good as any point to end this discussion on. So those were our top 3 stories of the week, guys. Thanks for all your input on there. Those were the 3 biggest stories, but there are also stories that don't make the episode, because it's just. We can only fit so much into an episode. So that's called that segment is called the cutting room floor, and we're gonna get to that in just 1 second. All right, we're back, guys. This is a little segment called the cutting room floor. These are the stories that didn't make the cut. So we're going to talk about them now. And the first story that didn't make it was Shia LaBeouf. He's back in the news, guys, and he's gonna direct a biopic about himself. But he's not going to play himself. He's going to play his dad, and what's his name is going to play him. Lucas Hedges. Lucas Hedges is going to play Shia LaBeouf.
Interesting.
What do we think, Justin?
I'm very curious to see what parts of his life are going to be on display.
Oh.
That'll be interesting. I feel like there'll be some focus on his late turn to like
performance
art and activism.
Yeah,
like there was the whole he cannot divide us.
Right.
So that'll probably.
I watched way too much of that live stream, by the way.
I'm sure there's no amount of that live stream you could watch that wouldn't be way too much.
It was ridiculous.
I feel like that's probably where it'll end off.
Okay.
But I'm curious. Like, I'll go see it. I'm curious.
I did read that some of it is going to be like his turbulent relationship with his father during like his Even Stevens kind of child actor years.
Oh wow.
Because his dad apparently is not a nice person, so it might focus on that.
But then Lucas Hedges is going to play him at Even Stevens' age, isn't he? Like
well, maybe
14?
Older. They might get someone younger. Yeah.
True. Yeah, they might just have like a flashback sequence.
My real question is, and you Even Stevens fans will get this, is who's going to play Beans? Who's going to play Beans? Is my question.
Just cast Beans. Why not?
He looks very similar.
Yeah, just put a little
complimentary
makeup on him, and he's 12 again.
Beans, you're watching. Play Beans.
Phoebe, what do you think? It's strange.
What I'm curious to see is who is going to watch this movie. I don't know.
I will.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a very, very weird concept. It seems really interesting.
Yeah.
He's such a strange character. He's such a like a wild card. I don't know. I would be interested to see where all of that came from. So maybe I'm excited to watch it. Maybe, I don't know.
Liam, you were saying you'd be down to see this?
Yeah. I mean, like, just Shia as a person, I think I'm like so fascinated by that guy. Like, I follow all of his like performance art stuff because I think it's like so intriguing and like I don't know what this guy's up to. And I also like along to that, I don't know if Shia is like a good guy or not. Like I still can't tell like if he's just like.
I mean, I think we can say he's not a good guy. At first, I was like, he's cool because he's like honest and he's just like he is who he is. But then that whole white privilege, police.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Okay, maybe I'll
a little
take that back.
It's a little.
He's a
racist.
bad guy.
Yeah.
But
so I mean,
I think he's
racist.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, watch the clip.
Yeah, you should watch it.
He had a full blown like apology in an article or like in a statement. It was
okay. I'll watch that and then
also
retract my previous statement. Of
like he's
not
the
sure
best guy ever.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do any part of the movie will it be about him ripping off Daniel Klaus, the graphic novelist, for that
and
short
then
film.
Plagiarizing his apology.
Yeah, plagiarizing the apology, which is like
That's got to be like he's self-aware. Like he's like
for sure. That's an anti-apology for sure.
Yeah.
and then buying out that plane that had the like an apology on like floating. in the wind.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
he had a
Maybe I don't
forgot
follow his
about
performance
that.
art as much as I thought he did.
Daniel Close handled that situation well. He's just like, meh.
All right.
But yeah, that the live stream of like He Will Not Divide Us, not to get into politics because this isn't a podcast about politics, but
it's not.
No.
Or
Careful.
books.
It's
or
not?
books.
But that was like fascinating. Like I like watched that because like you turn it on at any point of the day and like people are just like yelling at each other.
Yeah.
I know it's not exciting to watch, but it was
sounds
very
pretty
interesting.
exciting.
Anyways,
Really
that's
yeah,
not, that's
I
not
mean-
movie
Star
news.
hip-hop.
Yeah,
We're
it's
a
like
little
24 hours.
24-hour world.
It seems like we're a little split on this. I mean, I'm gonna close this entry by saying like if A24 distributes it,
Yeah, that's it.
I might be all
I'll
in.
watch it.
But
The
Lucas-
logo's just on his forehead or something
Yeah.
tattooed.
Unless there's like movies that Lucas Hedges has been in that I don't know about, he's got a perfect track record as
True.
far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Lucas Hedges is great.
Great actor.
So this was a big one that actually didn't end up making it, unfortunately. But Deadpool 2 released its first actual like full trailer. The two teasers before that were just kind of like little joke ones here, but this one actually showcases like what happens in the movie, kind of like what the plot is about. So what do we think? It looks pretty good. I mean, everything we'd expect, I should say, in a Deadpool 2 trailer.
It looks like Deadpool too.
Yeah. You got some fourth wall breaks. You got some crude jokes.
You got some movie
a lot
references.
of swearing.
A lot of swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that even a Red Band trailer, or was that just?
I'm sure it was a Red Band. I don't think you can say the words that he was saying
Regular trailer.
in a
It's
G
true.
Band trailer,
Yeah.
Green Band trailer.
Green
Green.
Band.
I
Green
did
Lantern.
like the first scene when it's just Derpinder, everyone's favorite cab driver,
Yeah.
Derpinder, just jamming out. What was the song? I forget what the song is. Yeah. So lost without you. That one. And then Wade's just running. Start the car.
Yeah, it's like the scene
Any-
from Indiana Jones. Start the
Yeah,
plane.
Exactly. I was gonna
I
say
like-
anytime that happens in a movie is just. It's
I like when it
hilarious.
says from the studio that brought you 27 dresses. And
that's pretty funny.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
And
funny.
that's
It's
funny.
pretty
Yeah,
meta.
was it the Devil Wears Prada?
Devil
Was it?
Wears
Yeah.
Prada.
Devil Wears Prada.
There's,
Which is
uh,
true because it's all Fox, right? I think.
Yeah.
So.
Not to get too much into comics again, but they also tease some
Out of those comics.
Isn't it comic podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna do some X-Force stuff. They already announced that there was gonna be a individual X-Force movie, and
What's
in the
an
trailer,
X-Force? What's the X-Force?
He does this.
No, we shouldn't be trashing comics because they're
X-Force.
the backbone of film.
Yes,
Right?
that's right.
But
Yeah,
you-
every
you
film
hate
is a
Marvel so much
comic.
though,
That's
right?
right. True. Yeah, I'm out. You know what? You're right. Why are we even talking about this? I hate Marvel comics. But yeah, I don't know. Terry Crews is in it. Love me some Terry Crews.
I
He's
didn't
so
know he
great.
was in it.
Yeah.
Zazie
so great.
Beetz.
Yeah, she's
I'm
great.
in love with Zazie Beetz, and
Great
she
on
looks
Atlanta.
awesome in this. She looks really cool.
Yeah.
As Domino.
As
Very cool
Domino.
character.
For someone who doesn't typically like comic book movies, such as myself, I really enjoyed the first one, surprisingly. And I think this one just looks like a bigger scale.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I'll probably
Different
see it.
director, but
It's the guy one of the guys that did John Wick,
Yeah.
which I'm sure that
Or
will
no, that was
translate.
the first movie.
That's actually
No, that's this movie. I
It's-
will guarantee that is this
okay.
movie.
it's an interesting story because like Ryan Reynolds and the previous director had like such a great relationship, and then all of a sudden for the second one, just like huge creative differences, which I
That
thought
was-
was very weird.
I
Yeah.
know that I just said that I really enjoyed the first one, but that was one of my issues with the first one was
the
that-
directing?
No.
Oh,
was
okay, I was
the
like-
action of the first one was that there wasn't that much focus on action. It was more of a focus on comedy, and I think they're trying to
up the
up the action
Right.
scenes because it was basically like one scene split up into the whole movie, right? It was like that entire
for a good chunk
highway.
Of it, yeah, it was just
bit.
cutting back and forth from that highway.
I
scene.
also think there's a major flaw in Deadpool's character in that he cannot die, as far as I know.
he cannot die.
I remember
He's
that was like
incapable.
another issue that I had with the first one was that there's no threat of him.
There's no stakes.
There's
there.
no stakes.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's why his girlfriend's there.
That's right. Whenever there's a character who's like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
point.
when he's
Good
fighting,
point.
when he's fighting, can't remember what the bad guy's name is.
what's his name?
The guy from Game of Thrones there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember
Dario.
being like, this guy, like, he's obviously gonna win because he can't die.
Yeah, but throughout the whole fight, you know, like his girlfriend is potentially gonna
I guess,
plummet
yeah.
to her
But, like,
death. That's some stakes there.
That relationship
Those are
was great.
stakes. Yeah.
Anyways,
High stakes.
I
High stakes.
went on a huge tangent there.
Yeah, God, my God.
Just touching upon like your whole action argument prior, they definitely have the opportunity to do this now because like the budget has increased.
I'm sure they gave them
So
a blank check because the first one
Probably.
did like crazy
Yeah.
numbers.
yeah. So do we think it's gonna be good? Do we think it's gonna be as good as the first one?
so.
Looks good. Looks funny.
I hope it's good.
Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna get everything we expect. You know, we're gonna get laughs. We're gonna get some
I like when
some pretty
superheroes-
violent scenes.
There were reports a few weeks ago of test screenings being poorly received, but
Yes.
there's going to be some
Oh.
Oh,
reshoots.
interesting.
The
So-
dreaded
but
word.
I tend not to put too much stock into those reports just because you never know what this like circumstance was for
True.
those test audience.
True.
Maybe it wasn't the intended demo. Maybe there's a million different possibilities, but ultimately there's going to be some reshoots. So
Yeah.
hopefully whatever problems were there are going to be addressed.
I like when superheroes swear. Give me
You're
more of that.
Big fan of
So
that.
Liam, this is gonna change your complete outlook on superhero movies now.
I wouldn't.
he's
say
just gonna
that.
swear.
I wouldn't go.
Hey, maybe he's gonna swear
never
every
know.
like fifth word, man. So you're gonna love it.
I know you love swearing. You
Yeah.
guys
I do love
swearing.
Yeah. We've had to cut like several
Yeah.
times already because this guy.
He can't
You
control
guys
himself.
haven't heard, but he can't.
I love
He
it.
can't control himself. Just
Anyways.
like Ryan Reynolds in this movie. Okay, so that was our segment called The Cutting Room Floor. And we're just going to talk about quickly the new releases this week. Pacific Rim Uprising is coming out. Anyone excited to see that? John Boyega's cool.
Yeah.
I like the first one.
Guillermo's
but Guillermo's gone. So
producer.
maybe
Is he
not.
producing? He's not producing at all?
I'm sure he's
he's-
got
he's
a
probably
piece of it,
executive
but I-
producer or
His
something.
got
name
credit
is
on there.
attached
Yeah.
to it, but
I
he
doubt
doesn't
he
really
didn't
have much
do
to do with
anything
it. Yeah.
creatively.
Yeah, not my cup of tea. But what is Wes Anderson Isle of Dogs. That's going to premiere a limited run this weekend.
Dogs.
I love dogs.
Oh my God.
I heard it's really good.
I heard it's
Me
really
too.
good also.
There's a little
Um,
controversy though.
Let's not get into that.
Let's
the
not.
controversy?
But basically, the controversy is, Wes Anderson, he's a white man and he's making a movie about Japan.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
It is a very interesting controversy, and
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, me neither. Well, I guess
reserve judgment until we've seen the movie.
that's
I guess.
it.
Sure.
If the characters are all like stereotypical caricatures that are like
I have a hard time believing.
lame,
I haven't
but
seen the
exactly,
movie, but I have a hard
I
time
don't feel
believing
that. I know Wes.
Yeah.
You know, I know Wes. He's
Wesley.
not
My
going
good
to do
old-
that
Me
to
and Wes
me.
go way back.
Totally.
And he's a very competent writer and director. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our show, guys. So a little round of applause for us. Phoebe,
me.
this was your first show.
Great.
Congratulations, you did
and
great.
We're
no
having
applause
you
for
on the
Liam.
show.
thank you.
Yeah,
What?
Liam's just at the end of the table.
No applause.
say?
No
he's
applause.
cussing.
Swearing by
Liam, yeah,
himself.
Yeah.
swearing like a sailor.
I've been
at the
swearing
corner.
under my breath this whole time.
Yeah,
You can't
so-
hear
We
me.
can hear it. Your mic's right there.
Phoebe, thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you
It was
so
a
much
lot of
for
fun.
having
You
me.
were great.
Thanks.
And to you guys, to our audience, thank you so much for checking out the CineFiles Extended Cut. And if you like this, be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So for me and my panel, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget to tune into our MojoTalks channel for the CineFiles Extended Cut. Link in the description below.